I have started recording as well.
What's our clap time?
Okay, our clap time. Let's make it 3:22:05 or let's make it 3:22:10.
Okay.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Cool.
Might have been a little early. Oh well. Okay. Let me just be ready for this intro. Stretching. Should have done this before I started recording, but whatever.
Hey gamers, gamettes, and everything above and in between. This is the Own Tempo podcast where
No,
Teddy
I'm
does
doing
different
the intro.
segments
I'm
every
doing the
episode.
intro.
In this episode, it's to totally stop all over Love's feet. I'm joking. Do your intro.
Okay. God. I like my intro.
I know. I like it too. That's why you ripped it off.
Maybe
Hello,
put this in
ladies
at the
and
end of
gentlemen.
the episode.
Yes, I will, probably. Are we ready now?
Yes.
You just have to
God,
edit
now
me
I
saying
feel-
hello
now I
to me
feel
saying
the-
goodbye instead.
Now I feel the pain of the Drawfee people. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and all things above and in between. I am one of your hosts, Obsessive Reader Love, and this is the Pokemon Own Tempo podcast. I messed up my word order, but whatever. Like 4 people watch this. I am joined by...
I'm Loreweaver.
And I'm
And-
Teddy.
Yay!
Hooray!
And today we are going to be doing the Hoenn starters. Unfortunately, we cannot talk about how much we like Mudkips until the 3rd segment, because we are going in Pokedex order. So we are starting with our boy Trico, and I like Trico.
Trico is cute. He's not in my top 5. But Trico is cute.
He's a fascinating little dude.
He's a little friend. And Grovyle is rad, and then Skeptile
Everybody loves
throws it all
Grovyle.
away. I fucking hate Skeptile. It's one of my least favorite stage
I
3s.
don't hate Sceptile. Like, to be fair, right? I did watch a fair amount of the Ruby Sapphire anime, and so having the one continuous Trico, Grovyle, Sceptile in that was like, oh, okay, yeah, it ties everything together. This is just a cool line who does cool things. Mega Sceptile, maybe, like, the red accents are a little much, but I think it looks pretty fucking cool. The giant Christmas tree tail.
What I don't understand is why did he stop holding his arms out?
What do you mean?
Look at his sprites.
Hold on, let me look at this.
Let me look at the Gen 3 decks.
Oh yeah, his arms are like
Relaxed.
his
now.
arms are still at the ready.
Yeah.
I mean, but if you look
Like
at...
in the Mega, they kind of don't look. They look a little bit less.
No, I'm not talking about Sceptile. I'm talking about Trico.
Oh,
Oh.
Trico.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
that is a little weird.
He was practicing, and now he stopped practicing. I guess he's practicing being ready for his weapons on his arms.
The,
And I guess they were there to.
The
better-
Cerebi preview pick is from Pokemon Home, and he's got his arms spread out.
Yeah, but then you put
Oh,
him
yeah,
in
that
any
is
modern
kinda
game and
cool.
it goes back down.
Well, the
Yeah.
modern Pokemon games have made a lot of mistakes with the animation skeletons of their 3D models.
They
I-
have been changing them back though.
Yeah, I do like how Charizard and Blastoise and Venusaur look in the DLC of Scarlet.
Yeah, all the starters are in Scarvio now, so we can see. I think, yeah, that was one of the things in the ads, so I figured I was okay talking about that.
Blastoise actually uses its cannons now
Really?
instead of just firing water from its face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was also some of the stuff was in Legends Arceus, and people were like, "Oh yeah, that's way better." And so people were, and so I guess Game Freak was like, "Yeah, okay, we'll do some work with that."
Man, now that I'm unemployed, I might actually be able to go back and fill out some of the Legends Arceus like Pokedex tasks.
I got like a third of the way through it, finishing out every Pokedex task in each entry, and then I got distracted and burned out.
I wasn't even. I decided I wasn't even gonna try. I just wanted to get the level 10s on everything, and I was like, I like grinding, but not this much.
I got up through the Ralts line.
Like
which
I don't
is...
even remember I don't even remember if you get a reward for doing it.
But yeah,
Nope, you sure don't.
I feel like Trico is the most underwhelming line of Gen 3's starters.
I
I
have
Which is
feel
a shame
like-
because I like geckos. I do like
I think it's a
Trico more
very
than
good
Mudkip.
gecko.
I feel like the line is trying to be like a ninja or like, a sneaky subterfuge type thing, because Sceptile has like its balls or whatever on its back that are like
They
weapons.
do kind of look like smoke bombs. They're actually
Yeah.
seeds, but they do kind of look like smoke bombs. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, like I get what it's going for, but I don't think it's doing it well.
Again, I am biased because of the anime where you get to see Ash's little Trico like grow up and be a cool guy, cool anime dude the whole time. And I told you about the episode where like he evolves to impress this Meganium, and then he can't. Then it turns out the Meganium is in love with Atropius, and then he has to go through this arc of relearning how to use his moves because he kind of rushed it. And so like I feel for the guy, and also I've been reading. There's this fanfic that I was writing fanfic about, but then I got caught up in other stuff. That focuses on a guy who goes through Hoenn with a Vulpix, and it's called Born of Caution. I've talked about it before, I'm pretty sure, and he actually winds up with the Trico that would have originally been Ash's, because it's sort of like a mixed canon, and so you get to see. So like I've gotten another like soft spot for the guy in that respect, because he gets some focus, because the guy's team is still fairly small, and so he puts a lot of focus on all the different Pokemon. And so I like the Trico line a lot. I think that it's obviously like in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, also Grovyle is a part of that story, and everybody loves that. And I just love the leaf on the head in general. Like so Grovyle is obviously the coolest of the line, but I really do like Sceptile. I think it does work. Like seeing it in motion and stuff is also very cool. Like again, I am biased because of the anime.
Sceptile, I think, suffers a bit because Grovyle is so cool. Like, Grovyle is one of the best stage 2s of the entire series.
There's a reason
true,
why Pokemon Mystery Dungeon didn't have there be a cool Sceptile.
Yeah, although like the evolutionary like through line is very clear. You can see like how the tail and the stomach kind of like the coloration.
It's a dinosaur.
Yeah, but like you can also see like how all the through line from Trico to Sceptile does work really well. Like it loses some of the accoutrement, like it loses the head leaf going to Sceptile, but it gets like other head spikes, and like you can see how the green stripe through the red turned into like it having a green belly with the red stripe, but it still has like the red under its chin. So like it really does, like it is one of the most cohesive evolution lines.
I think
in
it should
terms
have
of
become
starters.
Grass Dark type.
That would be cool, yeah, but there were already 2 other Grass Dark lines in Hoenn, and I guess they thought that would be a little overkill.
They could have.
One of them
undarked
was
the other one.
Shiftry. What was the other one?
Cacturn.
Right.
They could have made that a Grass Ghost.
Nah,
Yeah,
There
Cacturn
wasn't
would've worked
one
as
at
a
the
Grass
time.
Ghost better.
There wasn't one.
I
at
like
the
that they
time.
I like that they went with Grass Dragon for the Mega though. I think that was cool, and I do really like Mega Sceptile. I think it looks cool as hell. The Lightning Rod tail, because it has Lightning Rod now. Like I think the colors look really cool. I like it maybe is a little over designed, but that's like half the appeal of Mega Pokemon, and I fucking love it. I think
And
it looks
Sceptile
great.
was over designed to begin with, so Mega Sceptile actually reduces the amount of unnecessary detail.
I mean, I guess like a little bit.
Well, if you look at Sceptile and how its tail is shaped, and then
Yeah,
Oh my
I guess
god,
the-
that is straight up a Christmas tree.
It's great. It's got the point on the top and everything.
I've never seen Mega Sceptile before.
Play ORAS. They're good.
they're
I
fairly
have
good.
I have Omega Ruby in my 3DS, and I keep taking it with me when I go to like doctor's appointments and stuff, and then I pick it up, and then I play for 5 minutes, and then I put it down.
Yeah, I hear that. But other than the anime, by the way, Sceptile, one of Ash's Pokemon who has defeated a legendary,
Oh, which one?
Darkrai, in the infamous Sinnoh League semifinals when he fought against motherfucking Tobias with his Darkrai. Ash had to go through basically his whole team, but Sceptile was the one to finally finish off the Darkrai. And then Tobias threw out his second Pokemon, which was fucking Latios.
Yeah.
And I was like, dear Lord in
Why
heaven,
did
they
give
really had to
Tobias
get this.
legendaries?
Because they wanted to deny Ash the win.
Yeah, like
Pretty,
it was
pretty
just...
nakedly. This was, nope, you don't get to win this one.
But they did have, because Ash felt at his most powerful in the series up to that point in Sinnoh, and like Sinnoh was one of the last times that he would use all of his Pokemon from like across the journey. Like once they got to Kalos, that he would only use his team from from the series. I don't remember exactly if he brought in his other Pokemon from Unova, because the Unova League was kind of a joke in general. And he had like a larger team in Unova anyway, so he would have been like mixing and matching, regardless of whether he brought in his other Pokemon. But in Kalos and Alola and in Journeys, he just used his main team from the main series. And so like Sinnoh was one of the last times, and you got to see, like, Quilava, his Cyndaquil even evolved into Quilava off screen and got to have, like, some cool moments. And there was a lot of cool stuff happening in Sinnoh, and Ash beat Paul, like, one of his best rivals. And so Ash felt like one of the strongest iterations of him possible, so they had to introduce a guy who was literally just the most overpowered piece of shit ever, because they weren't ready for him to win yet, because they wanted to continue having him do stuff. But like
can't be the very best, like no one ever was. Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, originally they wanted to have, like, originally Ash was an underdog. He was like a normal ass kid, and like the original writer for Pokemon also wanted the series to end with a Pokemon uprising, so we don't got to talk too much about the original.
Yeah,
they really
let's not focus on the grim, dark Pokemon manga.
That was before they really understood the nature of what they wanted Pokemon to be as a series.
Yeah, but like Ash was originally supposed to be just sort of an average dude, doing a little bit above average, and he lost his Indigo Plateau like challenge for an understandable reason. He messed up, and he was aware of that. And like then he went to the Orange Islands and he got like an actual win. He did beat the champion of Orange Islands. And it was like a whole arc, like the original, like it was a whole arc for him. And then then in Johto he had an arc of like, trying to rely too much on his Charizard, who like, and like that's also another arc. Like he had to learn to gain the trust of his Charizard. Then he started over relying on his Charizard, and Charizard had to go off on his own. And there is a lot of actually really interesting character stuff in the original series. And then in Ruby and Sapphire, they had May to be like the new kid who was just kind of an average Joe, and like Ash and her would have like arguments and clash because of their different sensibilities and desires.
I haven't watched the Hoenn anime, but from what I've gathered, May comes off as really annoying to a lot of people because they had established Ash very well by then, but May was just coming in and questioning him and being a dick to him and not really having very many good moments of her own to redeem her presence in the show.
At the start, yeah, that is some of how it is. I have never watched I caught the Hoenn anime periodically as it aired, especially during Battle Frontier. I watched a fair amount of it, and in that she's a lot better. She gains more of her own identity as the series goes on, and she's got like her own baggage with not wanting to be a Pokemon trainer but kind of having to be, which they don't explore as much of the world building behind that as they could, but she discovers her own passion with coordination, and she's mostly there to sell Pokemon contests, but like the way the Pokemon contests are handled is pretty interesting. So like there is a level of a clash between them there, and they definitely figured it out, because in Sinnoh, Ash's relationship with Dawn is one of the best parts of the series, because they are kindred spirits. They care so much about Pokemon and wanting to be the best, and they clash sometimes because Dawn is a girly girl, but like, and Ash is very much a typical dude who does not care about like fashion and stuff, but Dawn cares about that stuff with the same level of passion that Ash cares about his stuff, and they both love Pokemon and are both competitive, and they are very similar, two peas in a pod, so they get along great after some initial like problems settling into traveling together.
And she was the only one who came to watch his championship.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just because they were doing the Legends Arceus stuff at the same time. May was watching. She was doing stuff with Lycia at the time, and Misty and Brock were also watching in different places, I think.
God, the fact that they didn't bring back Misty and Brock for that
It's
worse
went and
than his
visited
mom
them.
not showing up.
They already went and visited Misty and Brock in other episodes.
Yeah, but
No, I mean, like, you did see them like watching in other places, and then they got to journey together afterwards for a little while for a final little trek, and that was cool.
So I
liked that.
In its belly, it has a sac filled with burning fire, meaning that it feels as warm as a hot water bottle if you hug it. It's Torchic.
Oh my god! My most popular Tumblr post is about Torchic's
Before we move
entry.
on to the best part of Gen 3, did you know that Sceptile has 120 base speed?
Yeah. It's a ninja.
It's a fast fucker.
It's a ninja.
That's wild.
It looks
doesn't
really
look
heavy.
fast.
It looks really heavy because of its goddamn tail. But yeah,
I don't
it's a
know. I've
ninja.
always thought that it did look fast. Because I see it. I got to see it be fast. It's like it has always been super nimble in the anime. So like it looks very slim and slender and cool. Like when you see it in motion in black and white and everything, like it just looks cool.
I feel like them making it lean forward more, starting with X and Y, was a good choice.
Yeah.
But yes, Torchic. Torchic is best boy. Torchic is adorable. Torchic is one of my favorite starters.
I have to show you the post. I have to show you the post because it's so simple and like it's literally just, so I was doing a fucking heart gold randomizer and I caught a Torchic and I just took a screenshot of that Pokedex entry, the heart gold Soul Silver Pokedex entry. And I just commented, now tell me that isn't the cutest Pokedex entry you ever did see. And it has 80,000 some notes, I think.
Nice.
I think my most famous Tumblr post is a Gem in the Holograms one.
My most famous Tumblr post is either one about Vegeta knowing what clouds are, or about Patrick Stewart in Oblivion.
Like occasionally it just pops up and gets a bunch more notes. Yeah, okay. It's not 80,000, it's 10,000.
In my heart it's 80,000.
Still good.
Yeah, actually no, it's 20,000 because it's got like 10,000 reblogs and 10,000 likes, so it's like 20 some. Here, I will link you the post so that you can see the very cute Pokedex entry.
God, Torchic is so adorable. I love Torchic.
It's
Hug it.
very cute.
It will be as warm as a hot water bottle.
Hug it. The fact that it just says hug it is so cute. What the hell?
Torchic is probably my second favorite fire starter. Let's see. There's Charmander, Cyndaquil, Torchic, Chimchar, Tepig.
I'm going to fight you about Chimchar next episode.
Litten.
We're going to get into a physical altercation. I swear to God, I have no idea why you do. Do you just not like monkeys?
That's probably part of it.
Do you just, like, how can you not respect the great sage equal to heaven? It's Sun Wukong! It's the coolest fucking monkey in the world!
It looks so dumb, and I hate Infernape, and I hate Gen 4 on top of it.
Well, yes, we've established that you're wrong! How does Infernape look bad? It looks cool as hell. It's got like the... We'll get to that next episode. For right now, one of the most popular starters of all time, Combuskin is... we can make all kinds of jokes about how Combuskin looks. In its official art, it doesn't look bad. Unless you, like, try to look at it a specific way. But, like, in some of its other appearances, and especially in 3D, it's not great.
When Combuskin is in active dynamic poses, it's kind of cute, but otherwise it's just dorky. It's very middle starter. But we should talk more about Torchic before we move on. We have plenty of time.
I was like sort of giving my whole
I like
line
that they
thoughts.
learned their lesson from Hoot Hoot, and they made sure to show the other legs so people didn't make assumptions.
Yeah, it like the vibe that it like toddles around. And it's just a little chick boy. It's just a little chick. It's just a little guy, and I love that.
I cannot wait to catch one in Indigo Disc. They're so. I can't wait to see them moving around. I want to see a Torchic run.
Torchic shiny is really cute. It's just
Torchic's, its colors are. I like its base form better, but it's got a good shiny.
Yeah, because its shiny just looks like an actual like chick. It's very cute.
Yeah, definitely.
And the colors just being swapped is also just very, very charming for shinies. I love it when shinies do that.
So I love its little wings.
Yes, his little fluffs.
They're
so do you know?
So cute.
Do you know why the gender difference is what it is?
Because there's a type of chicken that will get marked by the farmers to prove that it's male.
Yeah, it's just that, like, you don't want to keep too many male chickens because they're more aggressive, and you don't want to... You want to know which of your chickens is male because the female ones are... You're going to keep them for longer because of the eggs, and you don't want the eggs to be fertilized, so you need to know which ones are male to separate them first.
And they put a little marker doot on his butt.
Yep, they just mark their booties so that it's a very easy way to know. It doesn't like hurt them in any way. So it's very nice, and I think that's a fun little Easter egg to throw into a Pokemon game because like I learn a lot about biology due to Pokemon, and I think that it's very fun that they threw in some random ass biology like farming stuff. It does look like for Blaziken and Combuskin, they just made it the size of the head feathers, which is fairly normal for a lot of different gender differences. They just change the head feathers or like the size of head crests. Smaller ones are the females have like smaller head crests or like longer hair sometimes. The colors
look
on
at his little face. I love him.
I love birds, man. Birds are great. And he's so friend-shaped. Torchic is so friend-shaped. Like, it's the thing about it is that only the Heart Gold and Soul Silver Pokedex entry says, hug it! With the little exclamation point. All the other ones that it is based on say, give it a hug, and then there's like a dash. Nobody goes, hug it!
Hug it!
I wonder if it was like
You should hug a Torchic.
I wonder if it was like a character limit situation.
Maybe.
Could be.
Who cares? It's cute.
Yeah, Combuskin is okay. It's very middle starter Evo. I don't like very many middle starter Evos. Grovyle and Florigato are the big exceptions to that, I think.
I do love the concept of the Torchic line. Like, I feel like maybe Combuskin looks like that for part of the joke. You know, cockfighting.
Yeah.
It's literally the joke. So, like, it's possible that they made Combuskin kind of look like that on purpose. Because, like, Japan does like those kinds of jokes. But I think it does look very cool in its official art. Like, with its arms out and, like, in a lot of its sprites, it's got its arms out and its feet raised, and I think that it does look very cool. Like when it look at its home sprite. Also, in home, its shiny is significantly darker
than it is in any actual game. Yeah,
that's actually kind of cool.
And then there's Blaziken.
I wonder if it's
Blaziken, which I think looks like a Digimon, but in a good way.
So, have you
Blaziken
seen
like
the Pokemon that Blaziken was derived from?
No.
What do
you
the
mean?
Chicken? Like the actual chicken?
Have you seen drafts of what Latios was going to look like?
Oh, yeah, that one.
Oh, it does kind of look like the Lotties.
Yeah, the early Lottie's design looked a lot more like Blaziken than before.
So yeah, Blaziken is like noticeably darker in its shiny, but it's not like as different as Pokemon Home makes it look. But like Pokemon Home's art is like kind of lit differently anyway.
I Oh, have you seen the Turtle Montage starter fight video?
I
I don't
have,
believe so. I
yes.
don't really watch a lot of those.
Well,
He does a bunch of Pokemon videos where he puts a bunch of Pokemon on a deserted island and has them fight.
it's like a
He
battle
did,
royale type situation.
yeah, he did one for the first one he did. I think it was the first one he did was all the non-legendary Pokemon as if their Dex entries were physics accurate.
Well, that's never gonna work.
Oh yeah, about halfway through the fight, Mad Cargo came out of a Pokeball and incinerated the island.
Yeah. Literally hotter than the sun.
I had thought that you were going to talk about the one that's just the starter Pokemon, because that's the first one that came to mind for me.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
He did a Legendaries one. He did a Baby Pokemon one, which at the end was revealed to be a play fight on a playground, which was very cute.
That's very adorable, yeah.
And the most recent one was the starters. And it came down to Blaziken versus a Pikachu with max friendship.
Specifically, the
that makes
Let's Go
sense.
Pikachu, because he was using the Let's Go exclusive electric type moves.
And
The ludicrous priority, ludicrous base power. It's called like Zing Zap, I think, or something like that.
yeah. And what it really came down to was Pikachu held on so that it wouldn't disappoint its trainer or whatever the message is. Over and over and over. Which I thought was a very fun meta joke.
Yeah, that is very cool.
Until ultimately
the-
Blaziken takes it out.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Beats on it
god,
for long enough.
there's a pre-alpha version of Torchic that has giant wing ears.
Show me.
Oh my god. What the hell? That's so cute.
Oh, that's adorable. I think I like what we got better, but that's very cute.
That is really cute. Yeah, I think what we got is like the tuft that we got that looks kind of like a ponytail is very cute. It looks a little bit more martial artisty, which fits because like the whole idea is a fighting chicken. So like I think the martial arts like Blaziken looks kind of like it's got like the gear. It looks like it is from a dojo and is here to kick your ass. Like even its hands look like they're wrapped in bandages. Blaziken looks very cool. Like
Blaziken is rad. Definitely one of
It's-
my favorite starters.
and the Mega just turns all of that up to 11. It doesn't change a ton, but it changes the hairstyle just enough to make it look kind of Super Saiyan. It gives it like the flame energy things coming out of its hands so that it can flow even cooler, and it raises up its leg to show how fucking badass it is. And like the patterns are a little bit more dynamic. Blaziken is sleek and cool, and I do not begrudge anyone for loving the fuck out of it. It is cool as hell.
I'm a sucker for fire types, but even if I wasn't, Blaziken would be one of my favorites.
It's a solid little dude, man. It's a solid dude, man. Like I
Yeah,
do love
you
it.
backspaced little out of
Yeah, I was already kind of thinking about the next Pokemon, I guess, that we get to talk about because I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Huh,
But, we're
Saturda's
only
got
half-
an error. It says its height is 1 inch tall.
Huh.
Oh, I guess that's probably a placeholder because they just started adding the DLC Pokemon Pokedex entries.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. If you go to a previous generation at the top.
6'3", taller than me.
Yeah, it doesn't change in height when it evolves, which is interesting.
Really? Combuskin is
Or
6'3"?
when it Mega evolves, yeah. When it
Oh,
Mega
when it
evolves. I
Mega
meant.
evolves. Okay.
Some of them do, so I was like, oh, that's interesting that it doesn't. Combuskin's only like a few feet tall.
Yeah, 2'11".
Yeah. It's just a dude. It's just a little like 12-year-old. I do love that starters, like, they start out as little babies and then they get to be like the age of the kid that would be having them, like 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 peer type in height and size and stuff.
Yeah.
And then they turn into like cool ass adult kick ass monsters that will protect you from stuff.
You know,
It's very interesting in terms of like
out of all of the Pokemon that I tend to see personas and furry art of, Blaziken is not very frequently one of them.
I feel like people just wanna do that with Blaziken as it is.
Yeah, like
Like-
Blaziken is already a furry.
No, I'm
yeah,
just saying
you
I
don't really need to like.
I don't see
Oh,
much.
I'm not saying you're
I don't see
wrong.
much art of Blaziken in general when it comes to furry circles.
I do.
You do.
I feel like we may frequent different circles.
I suppose, but I would expect
a lot
to see
of the-
more in the circles.
a lot of the art of Blaziken is female.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people want.
Oh,
a lot of
she's
people want
butch.
to fuck
okay,
Blaziken.
she's butch. I get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's like a. A lot of people see Blaziken as kind of feminine. It especially helps that usually it is associated with May.
She could probably change a tire.
Yeah,
May had a Blaziken?
Yeah, May. It evolved into Blaziken at the very end of Battle Frontier. She and Ash had a showdown in a contest because Ash, sort of all through Hoenn, was kind of like, kind of only sort of respected contests. He didn't go to all of May's, and like May wouldn't go to all of his gym battles either. They didn't really see eye to eye on it.
Yeah, they didn't really like each other very much, which I think is death to a character dynamic.
They grew to like each other more as the series went on. Like they respected each other by the end, and that was shown by them having a big contest battle showdown where May got to prove him wrong. It was Blaziken versus Sceptile, and they tied. And they each, like in the Sinnoh episodes where May shows up, they even like bring it up. They each have half the ribbon from that contest.
Cool.
And it was very, and from that on, and that is probably part of why Ash goes to all of Dawn's contests. He is always there. He shows up for. Also, they are more similar than May and Ash were. So like, but he sees more eye to eye on that. He has grown a lot as of Sinnoh. Like he feels very much like a new, like a matured version of his character, which is a lot of the reason why in Unova, when he went kind of back to being kind of a kid, a lot of people weren't super pleased. And that presumably that's part of why they had to do that. They felt like they didn't really know where to go with Ash, so they kind of had to like reset him a little bit to try and figure out something to do. And then in Kalos, they figured out what they wanted to do. They wanted to have Ash be the single coolest motherfucker on the goddamn planet.
And then in Alola, they made him a kid, but in the best way again.
Yes, he's the coolest motherfucker on the planet, but the coolest kid on the planet.
Yeah.
And then in Journeys, they brought it all together and just made him the coolest kid on the planet that I want to be friends with so goddamn bad. So yeah, May got a Blaziken very late in Hoenn, and then in Sinnoh, when she shows up for like an arc in Sinnoh, she has her Blaziken, and it's very cool because you did see her grow alongside that Torchic. And the Torchic was kind of whiny at first, kind of like she was. It was very much a series about that growth to a certain degree. It kind of got distracted with the the way that it handled its villain arc and everything. Like the overall pacing of that season was not the best, from what I remember. I mostly watched Battle Frontier religiously, and that was a lot better because it was just them wandering around through Kanto again. And because like they had some time to kill between, this was back when there was actually like an amount of time between game releases, like more than like I think it's always been about the same, but I think it was a few more years because like it took time to localize the games also, so there was that as well.
Gen 2 came out in 1998, and I believe Gen 3 came out in 2002.
Yeah,
right?
So that's 4 years.
Let me look that up. I know Gen 2 came out in 98. Pokemon
because
Ruby
Gen 1
release
came out here in 98. Gen 2 didn't come out here until like 2000, I think. Maybe that was Crystal.
Looks like Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire came out November 21st, 2002 in Japan and March 17th, 2003 in North America.
So yeah, the localization used to take a long time.
Gold and Silver released initially in 1999, November 21st, 99.
Okay, so it was Crystal that came out in 2000. That makes sense. I remembered one of them did.
Looks like Gold and Silver came out in North America in 2000.
Yeah, okay. There was a reason that the movie was called Pokemon 2000.
I actually rewatched the dub of that recently, or not the dub. I rewatched the movie, but I watched it with subs, and I'd seen the dub many times. And my main takeaway was, when it comes to like voice delivery and tone, and like character direction and jokes, 4Kids actually did a pretty damn good job with this one.
Yeah, when 4Kids isn't censoring the hell out of a show, they're actually relatively competent. But
so like
handing One Piece to 4Kids was a mistake.
That was an interesting choice, because I think they just grabbed it because they're like, oh, it's popular, it must be something we can do, and then they quickly realized, oh no.
I actually have a hot take about 4Kids. So I don't know if either of you guys know of the Magical Girl series Tokyo Mew Mew. It got a reboot a few years ago.
Oh, Mew Mew Kissy Cutie, yeah.
Well, that's what it's based on, yeah.
Yeah.
So Tokyo Mew Mew was, like a magical girl show that came out in the it was one of those magical girl shows that was kind of trying to be something a little bit different from Sailor Moon, but like was definitely made because Sailor Moon was popular. And like I think the manga came out kind of closer to Sailor Moon than the anime came out, because it was another one of those things where like the manga was very different from the anime, because with a lot of magical girl animes they would expand things from the manga to like fit a full season of a show, and seasons were kind of longer then, I think. So there were 2 seasons, and there were 2 seasons of the show, if I'm remembering right, and 4Kids dubbed the first season. And they did not ever dub the second season, and I don't remember if it was like financial or because the second season kind of gets heavy, or what exactly. But I maintain that if you are going to watch the original Tokyo Mew Mew, you should watch the 4Kids dub until it runs out, because the original series has a very specific vibe that I don't think is as interesting. Like, I find the 4Kids dub, in terms of like music choices and like line choices, to be more engaging in the first few episodes. And this is kind of a thing that I like. My friend really likes the original Digimon Adventure. And I only ever watched that dubbed, and I watched it with her subbed some because she experienced it that way.
Completely different vibe.
And the vibe is so different. Like, the music choice, I'm like, why are we playing like soothing techno during this battle scene? It was like so weird. Like, part of that is just like the era of anime that it was, and because I grew up on like the inserting of the theme song and all the pop music everywhere, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. And
I think more important to how Digimon Adventure 1 was received in the West was because the dub fills a lot of empty space, not with theme song stuff, but with character chatter. There's a lot of dead air in the original Digimon sub,
which is really hit or miss depending on the kind of person you are, honestly.
Yeah, and like,
in the dub, everybody is talking all the time, and in a way, okay, so Final Fantasy VII came out in 1997, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a smash hit. And it's got great character arcs, and it's got great character development, and it's got a great story. And it's a smash hit. It's a runaway hit. It's the biggest thing Squenix has ever put out. And so they capitalize on that with Final Fantasy VII Media. They put out Dirge of Cerberus, and they put out Advent Children, and they put out Crisis Core, and none of it matches up because all of it is this weird, ponderous, melancholy thing that undoes a lot of character development.
It takes all the characters and fundamentally misunderstands them, except for like 2 of them.
Yeah.
I don't know enough to
and-
like most of the experience I have with the Final Fantasy canon comes from a lot of that side media and like people looking at the entire franchise as a whole.
Well, I guess here's a way to put it.
I'm trying to get somewhere.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Right.
Go ahead, Thor.
And then there's a lot of dead time for Final Fantasy VII. The game, all the side games are done. The ancillary media isn't coming out. There's like a 10-year drought. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake comes out. And it expands the first 6 hours of Final Fantasy VII into a 40-hour campaign. And it does so by adding moments. It adds dialogue, it adds story beats, it adds moments with these characters that have all been re-railed, brought back to their original characterization, and expanded in masterful ways. And that adds so much to a narrative if you do it right. And I would argue that Digimon Season 1 in the West does that right. All the characters are fun. And they, listening to them talk is fun. They're engaging. They're interesting. And all the added dialogue adds to the story.
It is very interesting, though, watching them side by side, comparing how different the character dynamics are. Like, Tai is kind of a dick in both versions, but, like, in Japanese, you kind of get the vibe that he's just sort of a smart, quick-witted kid who's a little too big for his britches, where, like, in English, that's still kind of the case, but, like, he's more mouthy because everybody's a little bit more mouthy, whereas, like, in Japanese, he's just sort of, like, generally kind of pushy in a way that's a lot more subtle, and some of that is just cultural.
Pushy little kid,
like,
basically.
Yeah, but like TK and Patamon.
Oh my god, yeah.
In the dub, how would you describe their dynamic?
It's like brotherly.
Yeah, for me,
Yeah, but in the
Patamon
sub,
always
it's so
seemed like
different.
Patamon always seemed like TK's like sassy older brother, like, but in the dub, he's constantly being mouthy, and like some of this is because I love Digimon Adventure 02, and it is also greatly helped by the dub from what I understand. I haven't watched a ton of it subbed, but it is very enjoyable in the dub, and like you can laugh at a lot of stuff and ignore some of the weird plot decisions that they make. But in the sub, Patamon is baby.
Patamon is so
He's
baby.
even more baby than TK is, and I didn't know that was possible. But they are both baby together, which creates a completely different dynamic. And I'm like, what the heck? And Tai and Matt's whole, like, dynamic is a little bit different as well in Japanese versus in English. Yeah. And Matt in general, like, there's the rival dynamic is slightly different in that era of, like, anime dubs versus in that era of, like, anime subs.
Man, Danny is going to be
like
eating this episode.
Like, there are some levels to the level of, like, animosity and everything. Like, Tai and Matt don't get along, but it works in a slightly different way when the dialogue is like less of a is less constant. And like my friend who likes it enjoys those moments of quiet. She thinks that they help. And a lot of the specific dialogue choices kind of aggravate her because of the way that she understands the characters. So yeah.
I would like to clarify that I don't think Digimon Season 1's dub changes are on the level of Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm just using that as a comparison.
Mm-hmm. And, like, I've never really liked Digimon Adventure 01. Like, it's fine.
I feel like 02 is when Digimon starts getting really good.
I love Digimon Adventure 02 so fucking much.
The funniest thing to me is in the Digimon fandom, so many people dislike 02, but
if you like 02, it is your favorite.
Yes.
Like, that's the dichotomy. You either love 02 or you think it's trash.
So my boyfriend and I the other day were listening to, like, I think it was like a Digimon series lo-fi playlist. And there were some little subtitles in there, and one of them, when Digimon 02 started, subtitle came up saying, Digimon 02 was the worst one, like as a goof. And, I'm just like, oh, damn it. This person's taste. And then the fucking Digimon Frontiers part came up, and they said, never mind what I said about Digimon 02, comma.
I mean, okay, so I watched a lot of Digimon Frontier because it aired on like Jetix.
Yeah.
When I was watching Jetix fairly regularly, and Tamers did too. Like they would
Tamers
be
was
running
so good.
Digimon reruns. And like I also watched a lot of Data Squad. Data Squad was my favorite for a while.
Data Squad
I
sounds
love
really
Data Squad.
fun.
Data Squad is great. I love Marcus. I feel like Marcus kind of maybe affected my taste in main characters a little bit. Like he just doesn't take any shit. He's just here to throw down. God bless.
From what I've heard about Data Squad is it's basically what I keep asking for like for like kids series and stuff to do is please give us an older protagonist in this universe so I can kind of have like a scope or scale or purpose that isn't just baby children. And it seems like Data Squad is basically
older.
what I'm asking
He's
for.
supposed to be like 13. He's supposed to be in 8th grade. And I'm like, how?
Every motherfucker
How?
I've seen in pictures of that show looks like they're in late high school at least.
Yeah, I think Thomas is supposed to be a high schooler. I think Thomas is supposed to be a little older, and then Yoshino is an adult. She can drive, so like she's an adult. But like to me, Marcus Reed's is 15 at the youngest, and he's fucking like he's doing street fights all day. And Thomas is like 16 or 17, already a fucking certified doctor, motherfucker. Classic anime stuff.
Me when I'm a certified doctor, but I'm a protagonist / main character in an anime, so I have to be a minor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Data Squad's great. I love all of the partners in it. I think that Keenan is especially also very good. He's a good boy.
I think the partner Digimon element is such a key thing to Digimon, for me at least, where if you don't have it present, if there aren't partner Digimon that are meant to kind of be reflections and bounce off of their partner human character, I just lose interest, which is why Frontiers, I just bounce off Frontiers. I'm like, what do you mean there's no partner Digimon? Instead, there's 2 of them that kind of follow the party around that I don't care about.
What do you mean the kids are the Digimon?
I don't mind it if
like...
kids like merge with Digimon or become Digimon. If Frontiers was the way it was, but they also had a partner Digimon that they did cool combo attacks with.
There are a lot of things like so actually I have this Digimon story idea where Digimon come to our world, and like the plot is that a group of 10 people from around the world at different ages wind up being ambassadors to the digital world, because like the Yggdrasil like main computer thing like connects with our world, because our worlds are in danger of merging together due to the way that technology is. And so he meets up with the authorities of all the world governments and shit, and is like, I am going to make a deal with you so that we do not go to war, because I have run the simulations, and if we just smash into each other, it's going to be bad for both of us. Both of us can totally, like, destroy each other. So why don't we try to be peaceful? I'm going to send you these 10 children of mine. You find the 10, find 10 humans. Yes, find 10 humans that align, whose energy aligns with these eggs, and we will work together to try and make our worlds come together peacefully. And that's the premise of the thing. And so one of the final power-ups that they get are these crests, and from another series that aren't the normal crests, and the elements from Frontier, and they do this cross thing where the human does the spirit evolution and the Digimon does the armor evolution at the same time.
Fuck yeah.
So they can do that. Originally, it happens because they're like separated. Like the humans and the Digimon wind up in different spots in the digital world. Like there's the arc that I had planned out, and so they discovered that they can help each other with these powers even when they aren't like near each other. And so like they can do it at the same time. And so like that's. So when you mentioned that, it made me think about that, because that's like kind of exactly what the point of it was.
Man.
But I like Frontier mostly because the characters in it, well, first of all, the main dude and the rival have a phenomenal anime rivalry that is lovely on its own. Main character is basically Sasuke, and like I have a type. I'm aware that I have a type. Like he's Koji is very much my type, but more my type is Koichi. I love Frontier entirely because of Koichi.
My biggest issue with Frontier is the weird misogyny.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely a problem.
And it's
I'm
weird
not gonna
because
say
it's
that
not
that's not a
it's
problem.
not that present in other Digimon series.
There's only one girl, and she gets shit on constantly, and I don't like that at all.
It's just like, you look at 01, and it's like pretty decent. Like there's two girl characters, pretty decent. Like not too much overlap in their personalities. They're like actualized people with feelings and needs.
I don't love what they've done with Sora recently.
Yeah, that's a mess.
But she's fine for who she is.
Yeah, and then
she's kind of like that tomboy who secretly wants to be more sensitive type, which I'm never a fan of. But
I like that the dub kind of did the reverse with Mimi, where she is at her basis, sensitive girly girl, but she also understands that she can expand and be that plus other things.
Mimi isn't
she like super flat in the sub?
No, I actually really liked her in the sub.
It's a mixed case in the sub. Yeah, it's like she
like.
You go ahead.
Okay, so I watched up to like her like first I watched up to a fair amount, and honestly, Mimi was like my favorite character in the sub. She's one of those like super excited to mingle with the peasants rich girl types. She's got like, she comes to camp and she's got a bag full of like everything because she has everything. She knows that she can get everything. She wants to be super prepared for every eventuality. So she's actually even more so than Joe, who is like the scaredy cat who wants to be ready for everything. She has like the flashlights and food and camp stuff.
She's
and
the
like
kind of person.
She came prepared. She gives it her all.
She's the kind of person that
everything.
has a lot of privilege and resources and does not squander it.
Yeah, she goes hard on everything. She is very much like the crest of sincerity / crest of purity is very like she's one of the ones who embodies her crest the best in my opinion, because she is constantly giving everything to all. Like she cares a lot. She is kind of a girly girl, but she's like 11, so of course she's going to be complaining about some stuff, but for the most part she is down to do her best, and she puts everything that she has into stuff, and she feels things very strongly, which I relate to. So I feel like Mimi is one of the highlights of the
way I'd put
She's
it
definitely
is,
my favorite in the dub.
Yeah, the way I'd put it is the dub starts her as more obnoxious than the sub does, and that gives the illusion of her having more growth.
That's possible,
but kind of the end result of the sub and dub are about the same, like, roundedness of character.
That kind of I mean, like, she is very funny at the start in the dub. Like, all the characters are funny, but she is, she and Tentomon kind of both, like, carry the crown for funny lines in the beginning.
But yeah, it's just really weird to me that Frontiers goes so hard on the misogyny after, like, 01 had rounded lady characters, 02 had our ADHD queen Miyako.
Miyako's great, yeah.
Tamers had Ruki, who was a badass and cool and...
Arguably also kind of a stereotype, but like, in a, she's kind of also that tomboy stereotype
they make it work,
that I don't like, but...
They
do make it work with her.
And then Frontiers is like, we hate women for some reason this season.
Yeah, I mean, they're all written by different people. We don't got to get into the Digimon Tamers stage play.
Oh Lord,
yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, let's not go into weird politics on our podcast again.
I do not like that. So like, but you know what I have
also,
heard
guys,
that people generally like?
What?
Mudkips.
I do like Mudkips.
We've been talking about Digimon for 15 minutes, and we're an hour in.
Yeah, I figured it was okay to go on
just
a tangent.
For you,
because
Dan.
it is.
Love you.
Yes, but...
Yes, we had gone. We were only at like half an hour when we started that tangent, so I thought it was safe. But we did wind up going for like
the illusion
of
the safe Digimon tangent.
Anyway,
so
Mudkips.
I heard you like Mudkips.
I do like
Mudkips.
I love Mudkips.
It's a good little guy.
He's so good. He's so excellent. He's so friend.
I really like his shining.
He is the only
His shiny's pretty good, yeah.
the only starter I chose as a kid in Hoenn. I refused
Yeah,
to
I mean, like,
pick
I would
any
occasionally
other one.
pick Torchic sometimes when I would play it, because, like, I've told you that when I was playing Sapphire originally, I was a dumb, like, 7-year-old who did not know how to grind in RPGs, and, like, would go through entirely with my starter and, like, avoid a lot of fights and not really, like, play the game the way you were supposed to play it. And so I would always get stuck at that rival battle between Sutopolis, not Sutopolis, the Slateport and Mauville. I would always get stuck there. The thing is, other than that fight, Mudkip can solo the game.
Yes.
Because water ground, as it turns out, is an extremely good type combination.
And there aren't that many
8 out of
grass
10,
type
too much
threats
water.
in Hoenn.
Okay, I gotta ask, am I weird in that I only ever had the one playthrough of all of these Pokemon games? I just played them for like 150 hours each.
No, I think that's normal, especially in the games that
the
have
Pokemon
stuff
games
like the
want
Battle
you to
Tower.
play them.
Like I played Yellow, and I got my copy of Yellow, and I played through Yellow, and then I kept playing through Yellow on that same save file, and then I got Silver, and I played through Silver, and
I think you're the
restart my game.
I think you're the average play style of Pokemon players. I think Love and I are just freaks.
I just like playing through the games,
liked playing
man.
through
Like,
the game.
a lot of, and like also a lot of times I would get like, I've always been that kid who got like got stuck in a game and like bashed my head against it for like a week or so and then just like, fuck it, I'm starting over. Like, I did that with every video game I ever played as a kid. So like I have done. So, like, I developed that habit, and that naturally transferred over to Pokemon, because that was one of the games I played the most. So,
yeah, that's kind of an alien perspective to me. I tend to power through obstacles and beat my head against puzzles until I solve them.
Again, I was 7, so, like,
I did that when I was 7.
Yeah, like, I wanted to play the game I liked more. I didn't want to, like, keep bashing my head against something that I didn't like.
I would do, like, new playthroughs with challenges. Like, in this one, I'm not going to evolve my Pokemon to their final stage.
Oh my god, you were doing challenges as a kid? I could never do that.
Well, I just did that because I was on the Cerevi.net forums, and they had little clubs you could make. So I was like, I'm going to make a club for people that don't want to fully evolve their Pokemon, and I'm going to do a playthrough.
That's
of the
very
game.
cute and fun. I appreciate that.
Man, the Cerevi.net
But yes, I
forums,
would always pick Mudkip. I picked Torchic occasionally when I would do that, but my mom usually picked Torchic because like that was when she was still regularly playing through Pokemon games, and she had Ruby, and she picked Torchic, and I had Sapphire, and I picked Mudkip because I was still mostly picking water types at the time.
You're lucky to have a mom who is into video games. I wish my mom was into video games.
She works for Epic Games. She's been wanting to tell me about the 3 new things that they announced the other week for like months. She's been like telling me about these 3 things that she's really excited about, but that have had the team completely stressed out.
I'm so envious of your gamer mom.
Yes, literally her like the username that she usually goes by is literally Rad Gamer Mom.
You just doxed your mother on the
Nice.
internet.
Don't worry about it. It's probably fine. Anyway,
Her
you guys
username
don't
is
know.
beep.
You guys don't know her real name, so it's fine. Anyway, so I love Mudkips. I've always loved Mudkips. I love Marshtomp. The fact that they made him so fucking weird in 3D, like, made him into a meme. But, like, just look at him, like, in his actual art, like, in his sprites and everything, he's so happy. He's just a cool dude.
Yeah, I think
And
sometimes the 3D sprites are a little bit neutral position, so it makes it lose some
they're
of
like
the expressiveness.
A-posing. But, like, if you look at his, like, Ruby and Sapphire sprites...
Oh,
he's
very
so,
cute.
Yeah.
He's so happy.
He's got his arms
Even the
up,
black and white
he's
sprites
just
are pretty
standing there,
good.
stancing.
Yeah,
That's so cute.
Yeah, the black and white sprites, he's just kind of vibing, and it's very cute. He's like...
I like his Ruby Sapphire sprites a lot.
He's just got that big grin on his face in Gen 3. He's smiling. He's happy to be there. And I always loved because like he gets Mudshot as soon as he evolves, and that shit was so powerful. like, because it was in Gen 3, it was a physical attack, and he's a physical attacker. So I would just like, brrr, it was great. There was one time when I did manage to finally get through into the late game, and I loved muddy water on my Swampert, because it was like, oh, it feels like I'm hitting them with both of my types. It's so cool. And, I remember that was also the playthrough that when I got to Moss Deep, and the Solrock and the Lunatone, I was like, you know what? I've got this Super Rod now, because you get that in Moss Deep. And I just fished up 2 Sharpedo and 2 Whalmer, and I fought, and I just, like, spammed Surf throughout that entire fight. I have this, it's a very vivid memory of mine. It was so silly. I didn't use them other than that, but I have that very strong memory. But Swampert's so cool. I think Swampert's really cool looking.
Swampert's a really solid design.
Swampert.
I'm a sucker for a good frog.
He is very amphibian.
I hope it's not too immediate for me to talk about Mega Swampert, which I feel like is an incredible design.
I fucking love
muscle
him.
Frog. Big old bullfrog.
Like, I saw him and I was like, this is a little weird, but I actually really love it. He's, like, his name, Swampert, is based off of Rampart. He's a fucking fortress, and that totally works with this. He, like, looks like he's a fucking brick wall leaning over his trainer to fucking block it from all damage.
And I just also...
You know the picture of, the photo of that mobster African bullfrog with one fist in his other palm?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Mega Swampert.
I also just feel like
he does have that.
I also
energy.
just feel like Mega Swampert has a really strong profile, really good shape. It feels very natural to the progression of Swampert's shape as well, because if you look at Marshtomp and then Swampert, you're like, yeah, okay. If you look at Marshtomp then Mega Swampert, you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like, I do think so too. Like, the fact that Marshtomp is briefly bipedal, and then Swampert is, like, on all fours again is kind of weird. Like, it happens in a few different lines, but, like, you can kind of tell that it can also stand up on its hind legs as well. And Mega Swampert makes that way more clear. It's like, oh yes, I am just so fucking beefy that I have to be on all fours, but I can absolutely rear up and smack you very hard. And, like, the patterns work really well as an evolution from the design that Swampert has. Like, the spikes work really well.
Sorry, I heard the sentence, I'm so beefy I have to be on all fours, and I passed out for a second. What's going on?
I'm happy
That's
for
a
you.
joke, of course. Haha.
But yeah, I mean, like, Mudkip is a little axolotl friend, little salamander axolotl guy, and then they kind of evolve on that in different, like, salamandery directions, and it just works. It just works in every way. Like, you can tell that this is an amphibian, even though it also kind of looks like a fucking tokusatsu
Also,
dude.
a really interesting thing to me about Swampert, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
It's bipedal in Ruby and Sapphire.
Wait, is it? Hold on. Let me look at
the
this.
sprites.
Oh my god, it is.
Hold on. It's been ages since I saw the Ruby and Sapphire sprite.
Wow, its Emerald sprite sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! It is! It is on both. It is on 2 legs. I forgot that it's on 2 legs.
And then in Diamond and Pearl, it's still bipedal. And then in Black and
And
White,
then in Black and White, it's kind of
like about to land. And then in X and Y, it's landed.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fun. Like, it looks more battle ready on all fours. Like, it looks like it's ready to fucking intercept.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like a fucking
Yeah, I think I'd
football
like
player.
it on all fours
It feels
better.
like the Sugimori art is misleading us on Swampert.
That's wild, yeah. I mean, like, it looks like a fucking football player, which I had not thought about until just this moment. But it absolutely is, like the way that it's like stanced up, and especially its Mega Evolution.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of looks like the helmet shape almost. Like, it looks like it would absolutely be a linebacker or some shit.
Hell yeah.
So I had not thought about that until just now, but it kind of, like, even the color scheme kind of reminds me of the way that some football uniforms look, which is kind of weird,
Right.
but kind of cool.
So which is next, Umbreon or Espeon?
What do you mean?
Gen 3 starters.
Oh. Well,
Oh boy, yeah.
we will have the Eevee episode after we cover everything.
Fair enough. I guess it can wait.
Watch Dogs in Love. You won't regret
Oh,
it.
Dogs
You
in
won't.
Love.
It's true.
The series that made me like, I guess it would be delivered, wouldn't it?
I've thought that for a while. That's like kind of a thing that gets brought up every so often in Pokemon fandoms, like depending on it. But like Delibird kind of sounds better.
It does.
It sounds more like a creature
Kind of like how
name
Charizard sounds better and Blaziken sounds better.
than Blaziken, like
Or
chicken.
Charizard, like lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do want to just draw your attention to Swampert's Japanese name, which is Naguraji. Lag large.
Yeah, large and slow.
He's just big. He's just big.
He's just big.
It's actually lagoon and large.
Ah.
They're like lagoon, but lagoon is kind of like a little too fresh water, like a little too clear sounding. He's swampy dude. He's a swampert.
Are you sure there's those extra syllables? Because on Cerebi it's just Rugaji.
It's Naguraji.
Huh.
Naguraji.
Raguraji.
Technically.
There's the dash for that, an extension of the previous vowel, yeah. Raguraji.
Fair enough.
Interestingly, in French, it's Lagron.
What's Agron's name in French? Hold on.
That's a great question. It's time to find out.
Agron's French
Because I thought
name.
that Agron was from aggressive.
Agron's
like,
French
Lago is
Agron's
large.
French name is Gale King
That's cool.
from Gale King, I guess, from Gale, which is pebble, and king.
That's cool.
Oh, neat.
That's very cool.
Agron's
but we'll get
name
to that
is
later.
Boscadora.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Do you know? Do you like? I'm pretty sure that Tyranitar's name is also like kaiju, or is also like
Kodora.
literally just a. It's Bangiras.
Oh, sorry. I heard Tyranitar and my brain parsed it as Laron because I was looking at Laron's page. Yeah, Bangiras, yeah.
Tyran is Bangiras.
Nice.
So yes, they are kaijus. Agron is the partner to Tyranitar, and they are very much kaijus. And good for them. Good for them. We'll talk about some kaijus later. We should have like a kaiju episode.
Just a pseudo legendary episode.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But not the funky ones, not the Ultra Beasts or the Paradoxes.
I mean, if we had like an actual kaiju episode, Agron is not a pseudo legendary, but we would have to include Butterfree.
That's true.
Because
Mothra.
G-Max
There's a Mothra,
Butterfree
yeah.
is
That's
Mothra.
true. We might as well include a lot of the Pokemon if we do that.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like it would be very funny to have an episode where we just pick out, like, all the main kaiju, because I'm not a kaiju expert. I only know, like, the ones that are featured in fucking Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah. Completely unrelated to starters, but related to Pokemon.
Yes. Related to Pokemon.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Lugia is the Sea Guardian who
That would make
lives
sense. We
under
could
the
call her-
sea and is constantly
Right.
animated and displayed as manipulating water
It's true.
and a psychic flying type.
Ah,
Yeah.
but telekinesis is psychic type, don't you know?
Ah.
Never
The
mind
fact
that
that
it's
it's a flying type-
hydromancy.
Like, to
Why
be
couldn't
fair,
it have
okay,
been
to be
psychic
fair,
water?
it was
Yeah.
originally made for the movie. They did not give it it didn't have a type because it was originally created as just this creature. So they weren't thinking about like, oh, it has to match up and be a pair. But like then they were like, okay, well if we're going to put this in the game, we need to pair it alongside another legendary Pokemon, and Ho-Oh's here and it's kind of a fire flying type, so we kind of need to make it a flying
Do
type.
we?
But if we just make it water flying, we've got a bunch of those, and that doesn't feel super like.
What do you mean we have a...
And like psychic is the type of like cool things.
Should
Like
have just made it psychic
like
water.
and it does talk to
They
Ash.
should have made it psychic water and made Ho-Oh psychic fire and just had us accept that they were birds.
I'd think
Yeah,
that
that
was
would be cool.
rad.
Oh, is great. We'll get to some. We can have some box legendary.
I'm not
episodes,
mad
I
because of
think.
Pokedoku or anything. I'm not. I'm not mad for all the times that I've thought Lugia's a lot. Oh god damn it!
I mean, I've known it for so long that like for me, it's like all of the common Pokemon type myths are like, no, I know that that's wrong because I know that it's a common like mistake, and I'm just like, no, I'm too good at Pokemon for that.
Do you know what You
I
know
gotta
what?
say, coming across Lugia in new Pokemon Snap was really cool.
It was so cool. Everything in New Pokemon Snap was cool. Like every single legendary encounter was great, and every single every single Illumina Pokemon when you first came across it was so cool. Like
I cannot wait for Snap 3. I
I
cannot
hope
wait for
that they
Snap
make
3.
more. Like, it was so sad that they didn't make more DLC for New Snap. I was like, no, please, please, I would pay so much money for even one more new
You know what
course.
Pokemon?
I would pay every bit of money that I have for more New Snap because New Snap was so good.
You know what?
New Snap is my third favorite Pokemon game of all time.
It's really good. Like the lead up to like which Illumina Pokemon would be the Illumina Pokemon of each region was like, oh man, I wonder what it's actually going to be, and they like really went for it. Like they chose from like a wide variety, and they started with Meganium, and like nobody thinks about Meganium, but it works perfectly for this. And then like the Steelix was really cool, even though it was a pain in the ass to actually photograph. And then, of course,
I think the Melodic boss fight was the most memorable.
the Milotic was very cool, but I really liked the Wishy-Washy fight. The fact that it can, like, catch you in its mouth is awesome. Like, Wishy-Washy in general, like, is so cool, and the fact that they went for it with that, I was like, yes, this is perfect. But, of course, obviously, the best one is Volcarona, because, like, yes, that is exactly where it should be.
Yeah, that was very cool.
You know what?
But like
Pokemon whose name I really like. I really like Bonsly's name.
Bonsly's name is
such
great.
a clever
yeah.
name.
I usually call it Bonsley.
I know.
But it is Bonsly.
Everyone does.
I thought it,
and it's like
I thought it was Bonsly for the first like 20 years of its existence.
I think they alternate pronunciations in the show. Because usually when Bonsley is talking, it kind of goes like Bonsly.
Yeah.
But like they usually say Bonsley.
It's very
I think.
strange.
But it is Bonsly because it's a bonsai and it's sly. It should be Bonsly.
I also really like its Japanese name. Holy shit.
Hold on, what is it?
Usohachi, which is false flower pot, but the word
That's
usopachi
great.
means outright lie.
That's amazing.
That's a cool pun.
I love Japanese wordplay. It's so good. What is Sudowoodo's? Usoki. Usoki. Let me see what that actually
From
means.
Uso, obviously, ki, tree, and Usoski,
tree.
liar.
Usotsuki is liar, yeah. That's very cute. So the fact that Usotsuki, like the fact that liar sounds like it could have ki in it, is the entire point of its existence. And God bless. Thank you for it. It's great. Sudowoodo is such a fucking icon.
Absolutely delightful.
Like
I complain about the Gen 9 gym leader aces not being their type, but Sudowoodo becoming grass type was so brilliant.
Truly Wudo, like that's great. Truly Wudo, like that's great.
We love it.
Like I think that's like all. I think all of the reason that I don't love it is mostly because like they're not native Paldea Pokemon, and I feel like they should have gone with that. Like they should have made their native Paldea Pokemon like they should have had like 2 native Paldea Pokemon as their aces, and one of them turned into a different type. But, like, I feel like this also works, and, like, it shows off the gimmick, and they do kind of have 2 aces regardless, and I think it's kind of neat. But I do... you know, Gen 9 has a lot of flaws, but is still very good, so...
I like that Gen 9 is a mess, but it's a very fun mess. It feels
And
like they were
9,
willing to try a lot of shit out.
Pokemon Scarlet is my favorite Pokemon game.
Yeah,
It's the
mine
most
too.
fun I've ever had with a Pokemon game.
Yeah,
The
that's all
state
that
it
matters,
released
honestly.
in was truly inexcusable, but
I liked
it was
it.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I did. I really liked it. Like, it's clear that they gave a shit. Like, they gave so much of a shit. Like, I like Sword and Shield, but you could very much argue that they were kind of like filling
Kind
in the
of phoning
lines.
it in, yeah.
Playing it
But, like,
safe, phoning it in a little bit.
But,
there
they
is some
kind
really
of-
good stuff about Sword and Shield though. Like Bede's character arc's so good.
Bede's great, Hop's great. There's a lot of good stuff in Sword and Shield. Like, the characters in Sword and Shield are by far its best
Sword and
quality.
Shield feels
Everyone's
like...
favorite characters, Swordward and Shieldbert.
Well, yeah,
Don't
other
forget
than
Gunther.
That. But they are funny. They are funny. Like, the fact that
Are
they
they?
exist is
Are they
extremely-
really?
I think
Yes,
that they are funny.
I love their
Just
stupid hair.
their stupid hair is extremely fucking
Yeah,
funny.
Sword and
Like,
Shield feels like people cared, but someone else was also constantly pushing the people that cared out of the room and saying, we need to finish this.
Yeah, and then in Scarlet and Violet, they were like, I don't care how broken this is going to be when it's done. I want to do things that are cool and good for you, good for them. Like, honestly, I feel like this is the way to make it so that fucking Game Freak gives them more time.
And they called Toby Fox on the telephone and said, will you
Hey.
make it? And Toby was like, yes.
Yes.
I
mean,
think Gen 9 has some of the strongest Mon designs out of any generation.
all of them, every single one, I was like, that's so silly, and I love it.
I love the Dunsparce.
The Dunsparce
Tinkaton
great.
is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, and it's honestly threatening to displace Typhlosion as number
Tinkaton
one.
is so good. Like, it's just
It's so
like,
funny!
Like, everything about Tinkaton is just, oh, this is a JRPG character.
Have you,
That, like,
you seen Tinkaton's Japanese name?
Oh my
No,
god,
what
no,
is
what
it?
is it?
Dekanu-chan. Which essentially means huge blacksmith girl.
That's so good!
That's very cute.
That's so good. I need to know what all of the other ones are now, too. Okay, so Kanu-chan, they all have Chan in their names. That's so good. Oh my god, that's so good.
Everything about Tinkaton is funny. The giant hammer, the lore about its rivalry with Corviknight, the fact that it gets a 160 base power move.
Please, for the love of God, give it Smackdown.
Oh,
You-
that
why
that
does
would be
it not?
perfect. Why does it not get Smackdown? Everything about Tinkaton. Its design is very amusing and fun.
Okay,
It's a little chaos gremlin.
with a hammer it's just Amy Rose as a Pokemon, and I love everything about that. That's great.
28 pounds of pure hatred against steel types. The other 230 pounds are from the hammer.
Yeah, it's great.
If you spend a long enough time obsessively hating someone, you risk becoming it yourself.
It's so good. So Tink is just is just Kanu-chan, which is just little forger,
blacksmith.
like just forger girl, and then
Yeah.
Tinkatuff is middle forger girl, and Tinkaton is big forger girl. But like Chan is also just like affectionate, like it's just it's Forger Chan. It's just the little wait, Forger is the last name of Anya, and she's got Anya's hairstyle a little bit.
Thinking emoji.
Thinking emoji. Anyway, it's been almost an hour and a half, and we stopped talking about Mudkip a little bit ago, so we should probably wrap it up.
I mean, yeah, we got really
Verdict.
distracted in our Digimon podcast.
Yeah.
Verdict. Skeptile is okay.
I like
Swampert is
Skeptile
great.
a lot.
Blaziken is rad. Torchic is so cute.
I think that Gen 3 has very good starters. It's very hard for me not to pick Mudkip, because Mudkip is like my third or fourth favorite starter of all time due to nostalgia, but you can have a very good journey with any of them. Also, shout out to the fact that even though there is a ton of water and water types to fight, Swampert is better at handling them than Sceptile is, because the only things you run into while surfing are flying and poison type. You run into Pelipper and Wingull, and Tentacool and Tentacruel. Swampert is super effective against one of those, and Sceptile isn't against either of them.
Is weak to both.
Yeah. So
There really were too many tentacles and Wingulls in that game.
I mean, to be fair, there's too many tentacles in every game. Like, that's also all you run into when surfing in Johto. There's just less water in Johto. Although not an inconsiderable amount. There's still a decent amount of water.
Well, Pokemon good.
Pokemon good. All right.
Pokemon good.
So this has been the Own Tempo podcast. I have been Obsessive Reader Love. You can find me on Tumblr at love blogging and reblogging at tumblr.com. I don't have other social medias, and I'm not going to give you my Discord information because no. But if you want to hang out with me, you can join Lore's Discord. Lore, tell them all about your social media.
Hi, I'm Loreweaver. I have a blog, loreweaver-universe.tumblr.com. I have a YouTube channel, which you may or may not be watching this on, which is just at Loreweaver on YouTube. I forget the exact format of YouTube channel URLs, but it's at Loreweaver. I stream games live almost every day at 1 p.m. EST on Twitch, twitch.tv/Loreweaver15. And there's a Discord server that you can find through various means from almost any of those venues that you can hang out with us. Hang out with my Discord server. We love having new people.
Indeed. And Teddy, do you have anything you would like to plug?
I ain't got much social media right now. Just, get Pokemon.
Get
Get
Pokemon.
Pokemon.
Have fun, stay safe, be brave enough to be kind, and get Pokemon. Have a good time, folks.
Bye,
Catch you on the
everybody.
flip side.